This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. We're continuing our work with solving basic proportions, and so we're going to do these four problems. And notice they're proportions, but there might be a fraction in the numerator or denominator. So these all have 1, 2, or 3 fractions within each problem. So for all of these, what we're going to do is write our answers as reduced fractions. So for all these, we're going to solve. So let's begin with the first one. We want to solve this one. So again, we think of this as just, one fraction equaling to another fraction. So we're going to cross multiply, right? You multiply the diagonals together, and those equal the product of the other diagonals together. So I've got the x times the 4. 4x equals the 2/3 times the 5. Now what I'm going to do here is when I have a whole number, like 5, since I'm multiplying it by a fraction, I'm going to write that as 5/1 and just leave it as it is right now. So you can simplify this if you want, okay? Or at this point, what I would suggest is if we have 4 times x, you multiply by its reciprocal, so we'll just know what x equals. So at the same time, I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/4. So see if that makes sense to you. First, we just cross multiplied, but I didn't simplify, and now I'm going to get x equals, all you have is all this stuff over here that gets to be multiplied. So let's see if anything cancels. The 2 and the 4 cancels, and I think that's it. So we're going to have for our answer 5/3. I'm sorry, 5/6. I remember the 3 times the 2, 5/6. So my answer is 5/6. Now that's one way of doing it. That isn't the only way to do it. How about if we had started out the same, writing the 4x equals 2/3 times 5. But let's say you went ahead and wrote this as 4x/1 equals 10/3. See what I did? I took the 4x and wrote it as 4x/1, because you can always write a whole number over 1. It's the same thing. And I did my multiplication. Now what you could do is you could do this cross multiplication again. 4x times 3 is 12x. Can you do that in your head? 4x times 3. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to put it over here. 12x. And then I'm going to go 10 times 1. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm doing the idea of how to solve a proportion twice. Then I could divide by 12. And when you reduce it, you get 5/6. So there's an alternate way of solving this. You do the proportion twice. So it's up to you, as always, what seems easier. You might try it more than one way and then make up your mind. So the first way, we did the 4 times x equals 2/3 times 5. We just left it, didn't worry about multiplying it out. Multiply both sides by 1/4. And then we just do this multiplication. Now, this is just multiplication over here on the right of the equal sign, no cross multiplying or anything, right? Second way, we started with the same problem, so I still did the 4 times x equals 2/3 times 5, and that's how I got that right there, right? The 4 times x equals 2/3 times 5. But then what I did is write 4x as 4x/1, and I simplified this fraction to 10/3. And then I just did the same thing again, cross multiplied, and got my answer. So here's the second problem. If you want, try this on your own. All right, let's do it. So again, I'm finding the x. I got to multiply it by the number diagonal to it, so it's 3/7 x. And then I have the other two numbers multiplied, 1/2 times 8. And again, I'm just going to write that as 8/1. It's easier when you have a fraction times another number for most people to write the other number as a fraction as well. Now I can just leave everything as is, and to get rid of this 3/7 times x, I can multiply by the reciprocal, 7/3, so that I'm able to solve for x. So let's see, does anything cancel? Well, the 2 goes into the 8 4 times, so I have 28 thirds. Right? So that's the first way to do it. Second way, we start out the same. Cross multiplying, we've got the 3/7 x. So second way I'll use another color. How about black? 3/7 x equals 1/2 times 8. Right? Right, so how can I do this similar to what I did before? I can think of this x as x over 1 and write this as 3x over 7 equals, and what's half of 8? Well, that's 4. 4 over 1. And cross multiply again. 3x times 1 equals 7 times 4, right? So I'm cross multiplying again. The 3x times the 1, the 7 times the 4 is 28. Divide both sides by 3, and notice what you get. X is going to be 28 thirds again. All right, so here's the next one for you to try. So x gets multiplied by the 4 thirds, so we have 4 thirds x. And the 2/5 times the 1/6. I personally think it's easier to right now multiply both sides by the reciprocal, but you could do it the second way I told you. Multiply both sides by 3/4 so that I'm able to find out what x is equal to. All right, so then I go over here and see if anything cancels. Let's see, the 3 and the 6, I'm going to get a 2 here. Then I can cancel the 2 with the 2, right? The 2 with the 2. So all I'm left at the top with 1 is 1. And in the bottom, I've got 5 times 4, which is 20. So x is 1/20. Method 2, for those of you who want to do it the other way. We have 4 thirds times x equals 2/5 times 1/6. And let's see, I can rewrite 4 thirds x as 4x over 3. And let's see if I can cancel anything here. 2 and 6, that's going to give me 1/15. And then I do the multiplication steps again, the 4x times 15. All right, what will that be? 4x times 15 will be, well, 4 times 15 is 60, so that's 60x equals, and then I have the 3 times the 1, right? And then dividing by 60, 3/60 also reduces to 1/20. So you see you get 1/20 doing it that way as well. All right, last problem. Try it on your own first. So we've got 6 times x, and we have 3/4 times 2/3, right? So on the left, I could write that. Wait, we're doing it the first way first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/6, right? Because that's a reciprocal. So that'll be able to solve for x. And let's see, what can I cancel over here? Well, notice in the numerator I have a 3 times 2, which is the same thing as that 6. So I can cancel that. 3 times 2 is going to cancel out with that 1/6 down there. So what I'm left with in the numerator is a 1. And the denominator I have 12. So I've got 1/12. Okay, alternate way. You do start out the same with the 6x equals 3/4 times 2/3, right? But then what do? You could write 6x as 6x over 1. And I could cancel over here, can't I? The 3's cancel. And the 2 and 4 cancels. So really on the right hand side all I have is 1/2. Now we do it again. 6x times 2. What's that going to be? 6x times 2. 12x equals 1 times 1. And you just divide both sides by 12. Again, getting the answer of 112. So you have at least two ways. I could think of a couple other ways you might look at it as well, but I thought this was enough to get you going. So you could decide if you like to just multiply by the reciprocal at this point when you're dealing with all these fractions, or if you want to rewrite it and do the rule for proportions again, doing the cross products, the cross multiplication. So now you've done a lot of basic proportions, so you should be pretty proficient. Try them all again on your own. This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.